This is Steve Ridgel, and this morning I want to tell you about my friend Mariah and her journey to be born again. Now, for a long time, Mariah's had interest in Jesus. She was raised to have some Jesus leaning. She's pursued Jesus. But Mariah's problem, she could never find a church home where she was truly comfortable or found real community. Now, she's real gracious about every church she ever tried to go to. She just didn't find one that clicked. But one of our recent converts at Hillcrest, Caitlin, was friends with Mariah, and she invited Mariah to church. Mariah came, and she liked it. People greeted her, people asked about her, people communicated with her, and she started coming to worship, to the secret class on Sunday morning, started coming to the Jesus Journey class on Wednesday night. Even when Caitlin would be out of town, Mariah would come, and her interest really grew. And so it got to the point where she wanted to talk about following Jesus more completely because she kept seeing people being baptized, kept hearing teaching on being born again, kept studying what it meant to follow Jesus. And so for several Wednesday nights before Jesus Journey class, Mariah and Caitlin would come up to the office and we'd talk about what it means to follow Jesus, and we'd tell stories out of Scripture, and we'd give verses to study. Well, I was out of town for about a week, and when I got back and met with Mariah, she had taken all the scriptures we had looked at. She had dissected them, studied them, journaled about them, put them in a notebook, written out a confession of faith. She really put a lot of thought and prayer into her decision. And so then she said, you know what, I've studied it, I know it, I want to be baptized, I want to be born again. This is where I've been looking for to follow Jesus. Had a beautiful statement written out that she did for her confession. Mariah's a private person, so we baptized her on Saturday morning with I couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 of us. Nathan, our preacher, and his wife, my wife, Marcia, and I, and her husband was there to support her. And maybe 1 or 2 others that kind of wondered by, saw it, heard about it, came in. Very small group, but it was intensely personal and intensely committed for her to do that. She prayed, studied, thought, wrestled, talked about it with her husband, talked about it with friends, talked about it a lot with God, and then made that decision. And so, Mariah, I want to tell you how proud I am of you. We're going to use probably your study journal. I think you will share that with a lot of people over the years. You even expressed you were trying to do that partly for you to frame what God wanted you to do, but partly so you will be able to talk to others when they said, what does it mean to follow Jesus? I expect you to, in fact, I even laughed, said, I think Caitlin's got a lot of people she wants to invite to church. Maybe you can be the one that studies with them. And God will use you and use that process you went through and even use your testimony like this video here that we're talking about to influence others to pursue Jesus. So Mariah, I'm glad you chased Jesus. I'm glad when you saw there was more to it, you went after it. I'm glad you found your community of faith. And I hope all the rest of us will take a lesson from Mariah. Be intense, be personal, study hard, and share your faith. This is Steve Ridgel thanking God and Caitlin and Mariah.